Welcome to 4 Oak Street. On this Sunday, where outside we have a dark, rainy day. Perfect for modelling. So, what have I been up to? Well, there's 3 parts to this video. The first part is a bit of an update on what I've done with this section here. A little bit about a Loco that I had an issue with, that had to do 18,000 miles back to the UK, 9,000 one way, 9,000 the other way, but it's now sorted. And then also a bit about these platforms that I'm building. So, what have I been up to? So, as you'll probably notice, the blue has gone. So now we've got pretty much the blank canvas, I suppose, now for all the greenery. And what I've been doing is getting the areas for the various buildings sorted. So the thing now that I'm doing is walls, or I will be starting. So that's been done. You'll notice where there's a platform at the back there. So and also the wall at the back has been done. So in order to do that was also a question of going around the back there and also filling in that area there, which is just brown. There was a bit of a gaping gap there, which was meant to have some semi-detached rears of the terraced houses, but unfortunately I miscalculated, so that has gone. Also this is my freehand cut retaining wall here, which feeds into the back of the station platform. So this is Scale Scene's red brick, and use one of their templates and then obviously cut it out and various other bits and pieces. And that wall will continue up this slope here, although it won't have the arches, or they may just disappear. And I thought, well, that will blend in the red brick. So I'll just take you around the side. So this has been, I suppose now it's more than 2 years since this section, the track was finished, I think 2 years ago, the actual circuit to make the whole loop. But this has been like, well, it's like building a whole new layout, albeit. So as you can see, I've put in these side pieces here. So obviously I worked it all out, so I just had to cut them. And I've started doing some platforms. So pretty much once I've done all the walls in the terraces, I'll just stop moving. But the walls in the terraces round by the houses, they'll be the next section. Painting the station area, which is around here. But I'll tell you a little bit about those platforms that I have started. It's not always easy cutting timber by hand, or even using a saw with a straight edge, but we'll get on to that right now. This backboard is in place. The distance between the backboard and the actual track is absolutely crucial, and of course it may not be totally square. But the one edge that you have to get right is, as good as you can, is to, when you're laying straight track, if you lay the track straight, there's a fair chance then if you get one straight edge, you're not going to have so much of a problem. So what I'm going to do is just show you how I've built these, but I'll just lift this up. So this is just very thin cork. This is about 1 mil, I think. So this will be the surface. This is screwed down, but this will be the surface that gets painted. There's still a bit more work to do on them, but the most crucial thing is, will the locos pass? Because one of the things, obviously, on the other side, you can just manipulate the platform as you want, and then but with this side, because it's up against this retaining wall, it's absolutely crucial to get it right. So I've just started doing a bit of loco testing. So I'm going to bring a couple of locos down so you can actually have a bit of a look. So the first one coming is not that one. Now I've got so many locos, I forget the numbers. So Loco 10 is coming round. That is Great Central, and I'm obviously testing locos that have gear, valve gear, or that may be a bit of an issue. And I can tell you it is extremely close. So I will just go around and we'll have a close. So that one there's not a lot of room there. So just hoping nothing moves. But that loco goes fine. So the next loco we'll bring round is another one that is a bit sus for platforms, and that is our good old Class 108 DMU. But I'll just bring it nice and steady. And of course this has that side gear that sticks right out. So you can see I'm at the mercy to a degree of the backboard or the side being exactly perfect, but that's another one that seems to be fine. So I'm happy with that. So building these platforms has taken a while, and trying to just get an idea of what the height should be, because there's different people have different ideas. Just bringing it fairly slow. But that seems to have done it okay as well. So if anybody's got any ideas of other locos that I might need to be aware of, because we have I've got quite a few diesels obviously, but if anybody's got any idea, by all means give me a shout. So this one is should be the Class 40. So that one passes fine as well. So the platforms, how did I make them? Well, looking at lots online, there's different ways. People use filler, people use a lot of these Pico sides that I bought quite a few of, or like what I've got in the other station, I've got the good old Metcalf ones, which aren't bad, but you know, in the years since I built the other station, I've probably decided that I need to try and do a bit better, I suppose. So hence with this one I decided I'd have a crack at building my own. So after looking at the various heights online, and they talk about 3'6", 3 foot above rail height and various sizes, and then you get the modelling license where they reckon if they're too low they don't look as good and they're better to be slightly high. So anyway, I decided I'd use 9mm ply, which we have here, and then I'd use these Pico walls. Now the walls will just about fit on this, but then it means that the platform is not sitting on the ply, it's sitting on this edge, and it's tending to make it a bit buckled. So what I do is I cut that edge off and give it a bit of a file, just so it's nice and smooth. So this is just quite a, well, I wouldn't say it's smooth, but it's not particularly rough. And then obviously you can you don't have to worry about anything buckling, and then when you've actually attached them you can come along and get the edge at the bottom nice and flush. So the other thing is, you'll see that there's these tabs. So what I've done with the tabs, because obviously where you get a one joining where there's a tab, what you'll actually get then is it's sticking out, because obviously there's the width of the tab which is slightly proud against the side. So all I've done is I've marked where the tab is. So the tab is roughly that size there, and then I've just cut a notch out using a Stanley knife, and then just filing it. So where there's a join on my platforms, you'll see there's a notch. So once you get to that section, you end up with something like this. So what you can see here, you can see the notches where the joints are, and that means it's quite flat. Now with this particular one, even though I cut these with a circular saw, I really wanted it done on a professional one, not just my circular saw with a straight edge. They just never seem to be perfect, so I ended up ruling a line and using my dad's old plain Stanley plane to get a straight edge. But as I said, with this platform, because it's not between tracks or anything, you just have to have one good straight edge. So you can see working away along. So when you get to that point now, you have this two different heights here. So what I worked out was this card is about 1mm. So I could put that card up against that there, which then takes you up to one level. And then with this cork that someone gave me a while back, which is 1mm, you can then put the cork on here, and that's quite a nice fit. And then obviously paint it, and there's more to do on those, but that's how I've worked it out. And then with the platform ramp, this was just done using a one of those electric nail file, not nail file, what do they call it? An electric file. So it's like a sanding machine with a belt, which they're quite cheap. And effectively, I just drew a line, and then what you're trying to do is make it so that when the ramp goes on, it fits. But anyway, that should work out okay. So these are all the strips that I've cut from the back of there, and I'm just using a Stanley blade to go along the inside 2 or 3 times, and then they just break off. So we'll just go back and have a quick look now at the actual platforms that I've done. So, as mentioned, the cork has not been fastened down, and that is the last thing to go on, because obviously they're screwed. So once I'm happy, and that's why I was doing that testing, but I have done some painting. So I've just used a water-based acrylic, orangey colour, to try and get close to this scale scenes brick. I'll just zoom out there a bit. The idea is to get close to that, and I'm going to be cheating on the station. I've decided I'm going to use these March station buildings. The station area is going to be up sort of this end, so there'll be the 3 March station buildings. The brick's not a perfect match, but it's going to have to do. And then there will be the March station canopies, because I just thought, well, the canopies are made for this building here. Canopies go over, so I bit the bullet and I've bought 10 canopies. So there'll be 5 over this side, and there'll be the 3 buildings that they have will have a canopy each, and then a canopy either side, so there'll be 5 on this side. So that's the next bit now, is getting this platform in, and then the area where the station buildings will be. But yeah, I'm reasonably happy with the way those have come out. And then obviously when the ballast is put in, you know, where this gap is, there'll be ballast, so that will look good. And yeah, that's then all the stuff that goes with the stations, lighting, potentially adverts on the back. I've got to put the capping on. At the moment there's no capping, but once you put capping on that wall, I might do it look at the way the March one is and make it similar to that. So yeah, so that's what I've done with the platforms. So fair bit of work as per usual, but like anything, if you want a good result, you got to put in a little bit of research and put the time in. So on to the Loco. Which Loco was it? Well, the Loco that I had the issue with was the LMS 10,000. Now, interestingly enough, I would say if I measured my time, and I'm not particularly proud of this, but it would probably be 98% building, 2% running. So a lot of the Locos, I'll buy them, I'll run them for an hour or so to run them in, and then when I do a running session, which is usually when I've completed a module, I will then give them another run and tend to run every Loco, and then get started again on the next mini project. So this one just kept stalling, and I'd clean the wheels, I took the bogies out. I wouldn't say I'm a complete novice. Years ago I sent back my first class 108 all the way back to Leicester, 9,000 miles one way, and all that simply happened was that the bogie had popped out. So that's how good I was. Since then I've done motor replacements. I've rebuilt the class 108 completely with a new motor and various things. Servicing I'm all right at. But anyway, I took the bogies out, looked at the contacts, still had issues. It would run but it would stop, the track would be perfectly clean. So trying to get the bogie frames off, and they were extremely tight. So while this was happening I was sending emails to Bachmann, and I've got to say they were very, very responsive, telling me all sorts of things that it could be. Anyway, trying to get the bogie frames off, and believe me, they were tight. I cracked one of them. So then I tried them without the bogie frames on, and in the end I just thought, I'm sending this back, they can have a look at it. So as a result they replaced both bogies and sent it back to me, and it's running a lot better now. But it makes me wonder, on these Locos that are pretty expensive, that come with chips fitted, it would be great if there was some way that they knew that the chip in the Loco was the original chip that was fitted, a bit like a VIN number on a car, and somehow in the chip they could actually see the number of hours that that particular motor has done. Because with this particular Loco that's here, the Western, it was only hardly used again, and the motor blew, and ended up putting another motor in it. But that wouldn't have done 3 hours running. But of course it's out of warranty because it's a year's warranty. But it'd be great if they went, oh, this one's only run 4 hours. They had some way. But anyway, that's just me probably being a bit stupid. So that is probably it for the update. So yeah, it doesn't look like I've done an awful lot, but as you can imagine, it is a lot of work, and we love it, and that's why we do it, I suppose. So thanks for all the comments. If anybody's got any ideas on Locos that I should be checking to make sure that I'm not going to get to the end of this and then next thing a Loco won't go through the station platform. But so good so far. So that's it. So with that, I will bid you all until I comment on a lot of your layouts. Thanks a lot. Bye.